Welcome to the GW Communications Timesheet Reporting tutorial. The application is hosted on the GW Communications Corporate Services Internet Information Portal, and access may be gained via any Internet-enabled device. Bear in mind, however, the site is optimized for use with desktop and laptop computers. Use of a tablet or handheld device such as a smartphone may yield somewhat unpredictable results. From your favorite web browser, the site is available at www.gwcom.biz. Before we get started, it is important to note the two types of timesheet reporting available within the Timesheet Reporting app. Administrative time reporting is limited to the reporting of hours not specific to a particular customer or project. The reporting of personal time off for occasions such as vacation, jury duty, bereavement leave, and personal holidays is completed via the admin timesheet reporting option. For employees assigned to an administrative role, the admin timesheet reporting function will be the only available option. Additional information regarding admin timesheet reporting is available in a separate tutorial video. Project level reporting is specific to a customer and/or project. This type of timesheet reporting involves the reporting of both hours and project-specific bid units. It is important to note, however, that employees who are eligible for project-level timesheet reporting can also report admin entries on the same timesheet. Stated differently, a timesheet submitted by an employee reporting at a project level may also contain admin entries. Let's get started. From your computer's desktop, open your favorite web browser, and in the address pane, type www.gwcomm.biz, then press the Enter key. This will open the login page for the portal. At the login page, select your username from the drop-down list and then enter your password. Click on the Submit button to proceed to the GW home page. At the GW home page, hover your mouse over the Manager's Corner option from the Time Reporting menu. A sub-menu of 3 choices will appear in a drop-down list. The first option is the Timesheet Review option. You will utilize this option to manage timesheet approvals for those employees assigned to you as either their primary or secondary approver. We will discuss the concept of primary and secondary approvers in more detail later in the tutorial. The second option is the Hourly Rates option. This option provides you with a very simple but powerful utility that will allow you to manage the base hourly rate for each of your employees, as well as a premium rate for instances where payment at a higher rate than the employee's typical rate may be warranted. There will be a full demonstration of this procedure later in this tutorial. The third option is the Timesheet Reports option, which currently contains 3 available report formats for your use. The first is the Timesheet Status report, which allows you to quickly assess which of your employees has or has not submitted a timesheet. The second available report option is the Red Flag report, which is used to help identify timesheets with overclaimed hours and/or units. The third report is the Timesheet History report, which allows you to review timesheet submittals for each of your employees. Each of the report formats will be discussed in greater detail in this tutorial. We will first look at the Timesheet Review page. From the home page, hover your mouse pointer over the Time Reporting menu option, and then hover over the Manager's Corner option. From the drop-down list, click on the Timesheet Review option. The Timesheet Review page is utilized to manage the flow of data between the timesheet input process and the payroll upload process. In your role as a timesheet manager, you will utilize the Timesheet Review page to either reject or approve the timesheets submitted by each of your employees. Let's take a moment to familiarize ourselves with the features of the Timesheet Review page. First, notice the series of plus sign icons on the left side of the page. Each icon indicates there is a detailed view of the timesheet available for review. Simply click on the plus and minus signs to alternately expand and collapse the individual timesheets contained in the list. You may on occasion notice a red flag icon to the right of the summary line for an individual timesheet. The red flag icon provides an indication that one or more of the items on the timesheet may be in conflict with data from another timesheet. It may be the timesheet of another employee or the timesheet of the same employee from a previous payroll period. For those reporting units, the red flag icon may also indicate that the unit quantity allocated to the associated project may have been oversubscribed by the combined claims of one or more timesheets. Clicking on the red flag icon opens a pop-up window containing entries from both the timesheet under review and conflicting entries from other timesheets. Click on the Close link to collapse the pop-up window and return to the timesheet review page. As an aside, there is also available a red flag report, which provides information concerning all of the red flag timesheets within your team. This report will be discussed in greater detail in just a few moments. Returning our attention to the timesheet review page, you will also note the presence of a cluster of 3 radio-styled buttons associated with each timesheet. By default, each cluster is set to the pending option. Leaving or resetting the cluster to the pending option results in no action being taken on the timesheet. Selecting the Approve button requires no further action on the part of the user and queues the timesheet for submittal to the payroll team. However, clicking on the Reject button will necessitate the entry of a comment before the timesheet can be returned to the employee for correction. The employee will receive an email notification regarding the rejected timesheet containing any comments you may have included. We will now take a closer look at the concept of primary and secondary timesheet approvers. In a nutshell, every employee reporting time into the time reporting application will be required to have both a primary and secondary approver. The reasoning is quite simple. Should the primary approver be absent or become indisposed for some reason, the secondary approver can manage the timesheets as a proxy. If there are timesheets awaiting approval in your secondary queue, you will notice a plus sign icon and a question asking whether you wish to view these timesheets as a secondary approver. Clicking on the plus sign icon reveals a second summarized list of timesheets awaiting approval. Bear in mind there is no difference in your ability to approve or reject these timesheet entries as a secondary approver. You will need to obviously make sure you have communicated with the primary approver prior to assuming the role of secondary approver. Finally, note the presence of the Submit button at the bottom of the timesheet list. Beware, nothing happens on the timesheet review page until the Submit button has been clicked. Also note, it is not necessary to submit the timesheets individually. Stated differently, it is possible to review and submit multiple timesheets with a single click of the Submit button. Any timesheet which has been marked as either rejected or approved will be acted upon by the clicking of the Submit button. Next, we will demonstrate the use of the hourly pay rates utility. From the GW homepage, select Time Reporting from the main menu and then select the Hourly Pay Rates option from the Manager's Corner submenu. Select an employee's name from the drop-down list of employees reporting to you. A grid showing a chronological listing of the hourly rates having been entered for the employee will now appear. In this example, we will enter a new rate by first selecting an effective date from the calendar. Once the effective date has been selected, simply type in the base rate and the associated premium or differential rate for the employee. Please note, a premium rate is not to be confused with an overtime rate. The premium rate is to be utilized as a differential rate and is a great way to compensate an employee working on a temporary assignment or an assignment outside his or her normal job class. As an aside, the hours code and the prem code are the 2 hourly reporting codes available to employees for the reporting of hours worked that are not associated with the reporting of units. Once the new hourly rate information has been input, click on the Submit button to commit the changes. By clicking on the Submit button, the new rate information is appended to the grid and is permanently recorded in the database. In order to demonstrate that our data has been permanently recorded to the database, we will exit the page and immediately return. As a means of ensuring you don't lose your work, a confirmation dialog will pop up anytime you attempt to exit the Hourly Pay Rates page. Once again, select the Hourly Pay Rates option from the Manager's Corner submenu to confirm your changes were accepted. Click on the name of the employee for whom changes were made and note the contents of the grid. The data is just as we left it when we exited previously. Next up is a review of the reports available within the Timesheet Reports submenu. Hover your mouse over the Timesheet Reports option under the Manager's Corner submenu. Click on the first item in the list. the Timesheet Status Report option. The Timesheet Status Report provides a quick and easy means of determining the timesheet status for each of your employees. You can utilize this report at any point during the typical 2-week reporting cycle to monitor the progress of the timesheets under your managerial control. Simply select a payroll date from the drop-down list in the center of the screen and click on the Submit button. Depending upon your web browser, you will be presented with the opportunity to either open your report in Microsoft Excel or save it to your hard drive for later viewing. The report content is relatively straightforward. The Summary tab contains a list of employee names grouped by timesheet status, the employee's last name, and first name. The timesheet status is also color-coded. Any row highlighted in red indicates a timesheet which has not yet been submitted by the employee for review by the manager. Any row highlighted in yellow indicates the timesheet has been submitted by the employee and is currently in your queue for approval or rejection. Any row highlighted in green represents a timesheet that has been approved and forwarded to the payroll team for processing. There is also a tab containing the current timesheet details for each employee. You can sneak a peek of these details and may opt to correspond with the employee regarding the status of his or her timesheet prior to them formally submitting the timesheet for approval or rejection. As noted previously, you can save this report and any other report downloaded from this site into Excel by clicking on the Enable Editing button near the top of the spreadsheet. Once you have clicked on the Enable Editing button, the option to save the Excel workbook is also enabled. Our next demonstration involves the use of the red flag report. Hover your mouse pointer over the Timesheet Reports option under the Manager's Corner submenu. Click on the second item in the list, the red flag report option. The red flag report is intended to serve the following purposes. 1. It provides a means of determining whether an employee has reported the same units on multiple timesheets. 2. It provides a means of determining whether multiple employees have reported the same units. And 3. It provides a means of determining whether the authorized units from QuickBase have been overclaimed. As with the Timesheet Status Report, simply select a payroll date from the drop-down list in the center of the screen and click on the Submit button to retrieve your copy of the red flag report. A message will appear informing you that your report is being prepared. Depending upon your web browser, you will be presented with the opportunity to either open your report in Microsoft Excel or download it to your hard drive. Note, if you are using Firefox, you may also need to click on the Refresh button in order to refresh the page after your file has been downloaded. In this example, we will go ahead and open the downloaded file in Microsoft Excel in order to examine its contents. The downloaded Excel workbook may contain as many as 3 worksheets or tabs. The first tab contains a listing of hours and units reported by the same employee multiple times. The employee may have reported the same units on multiple occasions to the same job on the same timesheet. Or the employee may have reported the same units to multiple timesheets over a period of several weeks. Either way, these units will show up as having been red flagged by the time reporting app. Note, with regard to hours reported to the same project on multiple occasions, this may be perfectly legitimate. This is a common occurrence for those employees who report only hours and may be working on a project that will span multiple days. Erring on the side of caution, however, the time reporting app will still raise the red flag. The second tab contains a listing of projects wherein multiple employees have claimed the same units. Again, with regard to hours being reported to the same project by multiple employees, this may be a legitimate practice for those involved in group activities, such as Team QC, etc. As noted, the time reporting app is always going to err on the side of caution and bring these units to the forefront for examination. The third tab contains a listing of overclaimed units. In this context, the overclaiming of units occurs when one or more employees charges to a project and the sum of the units claimed exceeds the estimate that was initialized in QuickBase. The overclaiming of units should be thoroughly investigated, and a determination must be made as to whether the employee's timesheet will be rejected for revision or the authorized value in QuickBase will be changed. A final note regarding the red flag report. The red flag report is intended to serve as a guide in helping you determine whether an employee's timesheet claims are valid. While we never want to assume the worst, it is the responsibility of every manager at GW Communications to maintain the financial integrity of the company. Consequently, the decision to either allow or disallow the claiming of units having been flagged by the application ultimately remains at your managerial discretion. Our third and final reporting tool is found in the Timesheet History Report. Hover your mouse pointer over the Timesheet Reports option under the Manager's Corner submenu. Click on the third item in the list, the Timesheet History Report option. The Timesheet History Report provides you with the means to retrieve a chronological listing of timesheets for each of your employees. This report also includes an Excel export option for your convenience. Select the name of an employee from the drop-down list, and a chronologically ordered listing of timesheets will appear from the newest or most recent submittal to the oldest. As with other parts of the application, the use of the plus sign icon on the leftmost side of the listing indicates the presence of additional detail. Click on the plus sign icon to expand the grid view and review the timesheet details. Alternately, clicking on the minus sign will collapse the grid view and will hide the timesheet detail. Should you need to download a copy of the timesheet, simply click on the Excel icon to the far right of the timesheet listing, and depending upon your web browser, you will be presented with an opportunity to either open the timesheet for immediate viewing in Excel or download and save it to your hard drive for later use. That's it. Thanks for watching.